Hey there, thanks so much for clicking on this video. I wanted to share with you my pros and cons, my overall findings of the Indyx clothing app. For the last several months, I've been indexing my wardrobe, tracking my outfits, so that I can get a better idea of how my closet's working for me, if this app would be a useful tool for me in my everyday and learning how to use my closet better, more effectively. So I want to go ahead and get into it. I'm going to share some pros and cons about the Indyx app. Let's get started. I had to change my shirt because, oh my goodness, I was absolutely roasting in that top. Firstly, this video is not sponsored. I did not get a sponsorship from Indyx. I just used it as a free opportunity, wanted to see what it was all about. I'd seen a lot of content about it, and so I wanted to share with you my experience with the app, completely my own opinions, thoughts, and my own review. So take from it what you will. I really enjoyed using the Indyx app. I've tracked my closet for several months now. I tracked my outfits the last few days in May, all of June, July, August, September, and I ran out of gas and I ran out of steam in October, and I have not tracked since then. But I did feel like at this point in time, I had used it for long enough that it gave me enough information to, number one, be able to make this video and share with you my overall thoughts, a brief review, pros and cons, and whether I liked the app or didn't like the app overall. If you're new, I'm so glad you clicked on this video. My name's Jessica. I love style. I love fashion, playing in my closet, getting inspiration. I love to shop my closet and recreate Pinterest looks and use that for inspiration to create looks, share that here with you, and hopefully inspire you to get in your closet and use your items, put things together in a new way that you may not have thought of before. If that sounds good, I hope you'll hit that subscribe button. I'd love to see you in the next one. I do want to give just a brief rundown of what the Indyx app does. It allows you to photograph your items. You can categorize them, whether they be tops, bottoms, skirts, dresses, swimwear, outerwear, etc. There are many different categories that you can put your items into. You can disclose whether your item was purchased, gifted, secondhand. You can include the purchase price paid and the actual cost of the item. So if you purchase things on sale, you purchased the item for $9.99, its original price was $29.99. You can also track the item's makeup of its fabric content, the season that it is geared towards, whether it be spring, summer, fall, winter. You can add hashtags to each item. You can add notes, a brief description. There are so many things that you can do in this Indyx app. I didn't even use the expanded version. I was using the free version, which I know if you purchase, you can get a lot more options available to you. I wanted to give it a trial run first to see if it was going to be worth it for me to pay that fee and use this moving forward for my closet. The first pro, it made me rewear my items, because as I would add an item into the app, it takes time. As you can imagine, disclosing all of those things I just listed off about each category for every item that you own in your closet, that's going to take some time. So it did help me rewear my items, because there were a lot of days when I would want to wear something that wasn't already added into the app. It made me reach for something that already was in the app out of sheer laziness, because I didn't want to spend the time to add another item into the app. It did help me rewear some things that I may not have otherwise. The second pro that I really feel, if you are not home a lot and you don't want to spend a ton of time in your actual closet. Now, for me, that's not the case. I love being in my closet. My closet is one of my all-time favorite places to be. It can help you save outfits and make outfits while you're on the go. It's mobile at your fingertips. You don't need to be at home in your closet to create outfits or make a capsule wardrobe. That was another bonus. You could create little mini capsules out of your own closet within the app. So I did a spring summer capsule. It was really fun. You can take and add whatever items that you choose from your closet, create create that little capsule. You could create a swim capsule, a vacation capsule, a fall winter capsule. There were so many different ways that you could make this app work for you, and you could get more out of your closet. One of the options that wasn't available to me because I didn't pay the fee for the app is you could have others style you. You can share your closet with other people, and you can also get in others' closets and style them up, as well as have others style your closet. And that can really help lend to some creativity if you're feeling stuck in a rut. Being able to have others access your closet and the items that you own, that could be a really fun plus. I didn't experience that, but I can imagine that would be a super fun time. Along with being able to create capsules, you could make a packing list. You're going for a big trip or going out of the country, taking a 7 to 10 day or 2-week vacation, or you're going to be out of town for a few months. You could create a packing list using the Indyx app, which I felt was a huge bonus as well. I never did that. We did go on a vacation, so I could have used this feature of the app, but I chose not to. But I'm assuming for some people that travel a lot, that could be a really useful tool and a pro to having this app for your closet. For me, I really wanted to see what I was re-wearing, what I was wearing, and what I wasn't. That was another item listed on the pro side for me, was being able to see in my closet. It hits differently when you can pull up a calendar, look at what you've worn for the week, the month, and see what you've reworn, what you haven't. I felt like that was such an interesting, fun part. And I've used style apps before, many, many years ago. I used the Style Book app, and I spent hundreds of hours adding all of my closet into that app. It was super fun. I had the best time with it. It was not as user-friendly or as comprehensive as Indyx, but I did use that one. I ended up deleting it. It just didn't end up working out for me. Many, many years later, here we are, and I wanted to give this one a try. The Indyx app will track your wears for each item, your cost per wear. And that was really fun to see as well. That was definitely another pro for me, as I did rewear those items. Getting to see that cost per wear go down, that's always exciting, because it just means you're getting your money worth out of the items that you've added. It makes it worth it. It makes you feel like, yes, that money was well spent when you see that cost per wear go down. I do have to say, this is the greatest caveat that I found with using the Indyx app. It works great for smaller wardrobes. If you have a smaller wardrobe, and I'm not going to dictate what small is, it's going to be different for everyone. It's all relative, and what you feel is an adequate amount of clothing for you and your lifestyle. If you've been to my channel before, have a very large, very abundant closet. This was definitely a drawback for me with the app. I think Indyx would be a great option for those of you who have a smaller wardrobe or a capsule wardrobe, and you have a finite number of items that is not overwhelming or in a large quantity like I do. Let's go ahead and get into some of the cons. These are the reasons why I didn't care for the app, or the app did not work for me, and I ultimately ended up stopping the use of it. It's so time consuming to set it up and to get everything added into your closet. As I said, you have to take a photograph, you have to enter in all of the information. You can also add when you purchased the item, when it was added to your closet, which that was really interesting as well. One con that I did not like about that, I have a lot of items in my closet that I've had for 10 or 15 plus years. So you have to hit this little arrow on the app and go back every single month. So for items that were really old or that I've had in my closet for a really long time, I found that as a huge drawback. I think that's something that the creators of Indyx could take a look at tweaking and making a little bit more user-friendly, with maybe being able to type in the date instead of going back and hitting that arrow button back for month after month when you've had an item for many, many, many years. I was adding items that I've owned since 2012, 2013, or even older than that. It was a very time consuming to have to go back and enter that date, because if I was going to do this thing, I wanted to go for the gusto. I wanted it to be as accurate as I could possibly make it, so that the data that I was getting was as accurate as it could possibly be. The next downfall that I did not like, that I felt was a con, is just how some of the items looked when you photograph them. I was able to search online and find a photo of the item, which looks 700 times better when you can find an online image of an item that's either on the item's website or on a model on a body that is of the particular item you want to add. I felt like that made a huge difference in just making it look overall appealing and aesthetic. There were several items that when I had to photograph them myself, they just looked frumpy and the color was off. The color didn't transfer through as well or as true as I had liked. There were a lot of items that I added that were cream or white or black, and I felt they came through very, very inaccurate as to what the item really looked like and what color it was. The silhouette, the details. When I had to take photographs of the items that I couldn't find a photo of it online anywhere else, I didn't love the overall look. It just did not look right. I didn't love wearing those items as much because they just don't look as aesthetically pleasing in the photos when you create the overall photograph image of the outfit as a whole. I know that might be silly for some of you, but for me, that was a drawback. It was a con. It was something that I didn't really love about the app, but I did love how the images looked that you were able to find online. If you could find an image of an item or a similar to it, I did that a lot of times where I couldn't find the exact item, but I found one similar enough that as I was going through my closet, making outfits and styling items, I would know which item that was, even though it wasn't an exact photo of the one that I had. It was similar enough. Perfect example is this white dress. I did have a really hard time photographing this white dress. I've had it in my closet for several years from Walmart. I did find one similar enough that when I was scrolling through my items, I know which dress this is. My overall feeling, because of the size of my closet, and this doesn't have anything to do with the Indyx app. This is a personal takeaway for me with the size of my closet. Using this app left me overall overwhelmed, discouraged, frustrated, feeling like there was no end in sight, no matter how many items I added or how quickly, how many things I added per day. I was never going to be finished with adding my entire closet to this app just because of the size of my closet. That's nothing to fault Indyx for. That is solely my issue for having such a big closet, which I love and I make no apologies for. That's my choice, my decision. Again, remember when we're in the comments section over here, we are all people, we all have feelings. Please be kind, keep your comments respectful. I don't mind constructive comments at all, but let's remember to be kind. We're all just people over here doing our best and we all have feelings. So let's lift each other up and not bring each other down. This may be a more appropriate app for me, feeling like the overwhelm was just too much and that I would never be done. If I were a full-time fashion person or a full-time influencer, style blogger, something of that iteration, and I had more time to dedicate to this, it might be a little bit more feasible. And I might feel like I could eventually get to the point where I would have arrived. I have children at home, I have a full-time job, and I do not have the time nor the desire to want to spend the time that it's going to take to add my entire closet to this app. It's just such an overwhelming feeling. As I finished wrapping up and finally threw in the towel with deciding, spoiler alert, this app is not for me. It may be for you. You may love it. If you have, like I said, a small, medium, or a capsule style closet, you might just love the pants off of this app. But overall census for me was, it's not for me. It's just too time consuming. I spent so many hours adding the items that I did add into my closet. I ended using this app with adding, there were 525 items, 131 outfits overall, and I made one capsule for spring summer. That's the overall consensus of my use with the app. I did love seeing the price per wear go down. That was super thrilling and really fun. When I got to wake up every day and I would want to style my outfit and put my outfit together, and I would reach for an item that wasn't in the app, it immediately kind of just brought me down and made me feel like, ugh, I really want to wear this, but I don't want to add this to the app. And that was one of the other very telling signs for me that this app wasn't for me. I want to wear my items. I do have a big closet with a lot of items in it. I love variety. I have a lot of accessories, shoes, bags, and that alone was just a very daunting thought to add all of those items. So I've abandoned ship. To end with my overall thoughts, I'm not going to continue using the Indyx app because I want to just keep wearing what's in my closet, and I don't want to be stressed out about feeling like I need to take 30 minutes today to photograph this belt, this pair of shoes, this necklace, this bag, and these pants that are not already in the app. It was just not for me. I hope this was helpful. If you are thinking about using the app, tell me below, or if you have used the app, tell me your thoughts. I love to hear from all of you. I think we could have a great discussion below with lots of diverse comments with people who love it, people who don't like it, or people who are thinking about using it. Let's get the chat started below. I hope that the video was helpful, that it gave you some ideas of whether or not this app might be for you or not for you. Thanks so much for watching. I'm so glad you tuned in today. Until I see you again, remember, don't forget to be kind, friends. It's free. Bye for now.